there, this is Dutta bringing you the It's Wrestling Time Post Show. It is Friday, December 30th, 2022, and tonight I will be covering the final SmackDown of the year and the final AEW Rampage of the year. But let's kick things off with Friday Night SmackDown. Now, normally I like to start off with AEW Rampage, but I feel like a little bit more things happened on SmackDown than they did on Rampage. So let's start off with SmackDown. So tonight's SmackDown was live from Tampa, Florida. And I have to say, it was quite the interesting show because you had a women's title match. It was Ronda Rousey versus Raquel Rodriguez for the SmackDown women's title. And the match itself wasn't bad. I thought it was a pretty decent match. I have to say, Ronda Rousey wearing that white Power Ranger inspired attire, in case anybody didn't notice, that is her white Power Ranger attire. And so, she wins this match. Not a surprise there. Was not expecting Raquel Rodriguez to beat Ronda Rousey. After Ronda wins, Charlotte Flair comes back. Mind you, she's got a new theme, which actually sounds pretty badass. And she's got a new attire. Jonathan Mayer saying, "Oh, hell, the queen." Yeah, Charlotte's back. And then she comes out, and Ronda is mocking her, asking how she's feeling. And Charlotte basically challenges Ronda to a title match, which Ronda accepts. So we get an impromptu title match. It becomes Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's title. And I had to say, this was a quick match. Basically, Charlotte Flair ended up winning this. And so she is now a 14-time women's champion. And I was actually kind of surprised by this, but it just goes to show you the more things change, the more they stay the same. I'm not sure where the creative is going with Charlotte and Ronda. Under Triple H's direction, I feel like maybe Charlotte would have a good title reign. But now it's like, okay, so it seems like they're not going to do Becky versus Ronda at WrestleMania anymore now that Charlotte has a belt. So I wonder who Charlotte going to face. Are we going to see Charlotte versus Rhea in a rematch? Remember, Charlotte defeated Rhea Ripley for that NXT Women's title a couple years back. So we might see that match again. But definitely, Charlotte Flair is back. She's now Women's Champion. And she's kicking off the new year as Women's Champion. But what are your thoughts on this whole segment on Ronda Rousey wearing the white Power Ranger inspired attire, Charlotte Flair returning and having a match and winning that women's title? I feel like I can kind of understand Mercedes not wanting to return to WWE if they were just going to do this. So, like I said, the more things change, the more they stay the same. I'm very curious to see where this goes. I'm predicting it'll probably be Charlotte versus Rhea, and Rhea's going to get her win back from Charlotte after Charlotte took that NXT title from her. Okay, but with that being said, let's kick off this review of SmackDown from the beginning. So tonight's SmackDown kicks off with the Bray Wyatt in-ring promo. He basically says he doesn't think of himself as a good person, but he does try. He does try. And that he's out there because he wants to apologize for attacking a cameraman in cold blood. He didn't deserve it. And then, of course, LA Knight comes out. Sorry about that, you guys. LA Knight comes out, and he does not believe Bray Wyatt. He says that Bray is a master of mind games. But the whole point of this segment is that they start talking about the Royal Rumble, which according to LA Knight is his first Royal Rumble, and he wants to make it a special one. And the way he's going to do that is by taking Bray and putting him out of his misery. So LA Knight basically challenges Bray Wyatt to a match at the Royal Rumble. And it was confirmed later on SmackDown that the match will be a pitch black match. I'm very curious to see how this match plays out. I mean, is the arena going to go all dark? Is it this a no DQ match? Like, what do you guys think this match is going to be about? A pitch black match. This is going to be one of those matches. I'm very curious. Very, very curious how this match is going to play out. What are you guys' thoughts on the pitch black match? Are you looking forward to it? Oh, maybe it might be a cinematic match. Who knows? Because we gotta wait and see. So after this, Uncle Howdy appears on the Titantron and he starts saying, "Revel in what you are and to embrace the dark." And then Uncle Howdy came out. But see, like, here's the thing. Like, last time he came out, he looked so different. When you look at how he looked here, this does not look like the last Uncle Howdy that came out. It's probably maybe Uncle Harper. So this definitely was not the same person who played Uncle Howdy last. It's a definitely different person. Kind of reminds me of Vincent from ROH. I know him and Dutch were at NXT. They were watching NXT in the attendance a couple weeks back. But who do you guys think this is? Anybody want to throw it? Any guesses? Well, I guess you got to wait and see. That's not Uncle Howdy. Yeah, it might be Uncle Harper. Might be Uncle Harper. It's definitely not the same person. That's for sure. But here's the trippy part. This Uncle Howdy came out and did a Sister Abigail to Bray Wyatt. And then kind of just walked away. Like, he took off his little hat, entered the ring, and did Sister Abigail Bray. So it's either Bo Dallas or Cameron Grimes. I would not think Cameron Grimes. Bo Dallas I could see, but not Cameron Grimes. So I don't know where this is going. Probably another mind trick of Bray Wyatt. I mean, like LA Knight said, Bray Wyatt is the mastermind of mind games. So we have to wait and see where this goes. But definitely I feel like everything's gonna come together or come to fruition in that pitch black match. So after this, we get a backstage segment with Sami Zayn, and he shows up to Roman's locker room wanting to talk strategy. And Paul Heyman seems to imply that Roman doesn't like it when the crowd chants for Sami Uso, although he says that Roman is proud of Sami Zayn. And he goes on to tell him that in order to stay on the island of relevancy, you always had to be 3 steps ahead. So very interesting segment. Very interesting. Because it's kind of like, is Roman jealous of the fact that they are chanting for Sami Uso? Which would add more to the storyline going on with Sami Uso and the Bloodline. So we get Sheamus versus Solo Sikoa, which is actually a good match. I enjoyed this match. Solo Sikoa always paying homage to Umaga by doing a hip attack. And then he does do the Samoan spike to finish Sheamus off, and Solo Sikoa is victorious. But of course, as always, the Usos were at ringside and they caused a distraction, which is allowing Solo Sikoa to pick up the victory here. It wasn't a good match. It was a banger. Yeah, banger. And as Sheamus always saying, banger, 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 banger after banger after banger. I did like the 10 beats to the Baron that Sheamus did to Sikoa here. So after the match, they were going to take out Sheamus like they took out Matt Riddle. And Drew McIntyre came out to help Sheamus, and he claimed more Jimmy Uso. So we found out that we're going to get the match we were originally supposed to get. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre versus the Usos for those undisputed tag titles. And like I said last time during my SmackDown review, it doesn't matter who the Usos face from here on out. They're going to win every single one of their matches until WrestleMania when they drop those titles to KO and Sami Zayn. So after this is the women's title match, Raquel Rodriguez versus Ronda Rousey, which the whole point is Ronda wins and Charlotte comes back. I talked about this at the beginning. Ronda Rousey was wearing a white Power Ranger inspired attire in case anybody didn't catch that. So after this, we get another backstage segment with the Bloodline. And Sami asks Roman if it bothers him when the crowd chants for him. Roman says no, and it's going to be a great night for them. So I really like the story that they're telling with Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. It seems like they're kind of hinting now that the split's coming. So after this, we get a Hit Row backstage segment. And I have to say, like, this segment was pretty much like a roast. Everybody was mocking Top Dollar. For you guys remember, Top Dollar did botch going over the top rope. So, like, you had the New Day in there, you had Madcap, Maximum Models, Ricochet. They were all mocking top dollar for that botch. They were saying things like "jump the shark," "jump to conclusions." So I wonder if this means they're gonna turn Hit Row heel. I mean, they kind of felt as baby faces. That group has not the same without Isaiah Swerve Scott, or as he's now known, Swerve Strickland. But hey, we see, maybe they'll work as heels, maybe. But I mean, I kind of thought it was a little messed up. They did that to top dollar. Let me see. Charlotte back now makes the women's division worse. Bruce Pritchard booked Charlotte to win. Explain to me how this woman has been out since May. She comes back and wins like that. Politics she's done. That's why I said the more things change, the more they stay the same. Let me see. Friday night says good show. Yeah, I definitely agree. It was a good show. So you get an Imperium in-ring promo, and they basically start talking about how no man on SmackDown can take Gunther's title. I really love that video package that they use to highlight Gunther's Intercontinental title reign. I like the fact that they're using those video packages to highlight not only the Intercontinental title but the United States title as well. Now you know why Sasha doesn't want to come back exactly, and I don't blame her for not coming back. So basically, Strowman comes out and tells Gunther that he hasn't beaten him, and then asks, what about a monster? And that he's not asking, he's telling. He wants that title shot. So basically, it was a 3-on-1 onslaught on Strowman until Ricochet came out to try to save Strowman. If you notice on commentary, Wade Barrett does say it's like a Waffle House brawl here. That's what he was saying. So I think a Gunther versus Braun Strowman match could be pretty good, but I don't like how they started things. You had Gunther run away from Braun Strowman, which I'm pretty sure Gunther can take Strowman. So I really didn't like that whole aspect of that feud. But I don't think Braun Strowman's getting through Gunther. I do think Gunther will beat Braun Strowman, although I would be pretty surprised if Braun Strowman wins. But we're getting that match in 2 weeks. And so the main event, here we go, is John Cena and Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns and Sami Uso. This was probably one of the most anticipated matches of this whole card, this main event. And I have to say, it felt like it. After watching it, at first I thought it was a good main event, but now that I reflect on it, I feel like it was kind of a letdown. Gunther will be beating Strowman. Gunther has been on a roll. Yeah, he has. I definitely do see that. And the reason why I say that is because this match had too many commercials. They needed to cut down on these commercials. And I think those commercials kind of hindered the match a little bit. They should have just made the last 30 minutes commercial free, and this match probably would have been better. But at the same time, this match kind of reminded me of Awesome Truth versus John Cena and The Rock at Survivor Series 2011. If you guys remember, John Cena and The Rock teamed up to face the Awesome Truth. And in that match, the whole match was John Cena getting beat up by the Awesome Truth, and then The Rock came in to get the save. It was a fun match, but it was more 20% in-ring and 80% of the match happening during commercial, typical Fox and WWE fashion. Exactly. And I feel like all those commercial breaks kind of brought the quality of this match down. Like, this match was highly anticipated. It was John Cena's first match in over a year, not to mention his first and only match of 2022. And not to mention, this match is supposed to build to the Royal Rumble. Match was just all hype. Yep, it definitely was all hype. So I did like like I said, the main event was good, but it was all hype. It was mostly all hype. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. But with that being said, that concludes the SmackDown review. So now let's turn things over to AEW Rampage, which kicked off with the AEW All-Atlantic Championship match. It was Trent Baretta versus Orange Cassidy. And I thought this was a good way to kick off Rampage. I thought it was an enjoyable match. It seems to me like this match is changing the friendship between Orange Cassidy and Trent Baretta. There were some funny spots in this match when Orange Cassidy went over the rope. Danhausen was like kicking him on the outside, which I thought was so hilarious. But Kip Sabian was on commentary for this. Penelope Ford, and she came out to cause a distraction. The title is defended more on Rampage than Dynamite. Yeah, I have noticed that. And so, you know how when Orange Cassidy takes off his elbow pad, and usually signifies he's gonna do the orange punch. So he stepped it to the side, and you can see Penelope Ford grab it, which is gonna play it into the next match. But anywho, Orange Cassidy wins after he hit a break to Trent and then an orange punch. And so Kip Sabian gets up and starts clapping. And we don't know if he's clapping because he's happy Orange Cassidy won or that Trent Baretta lost. So Trent's like walking out, like he's pissed. I feel like maybe he's not happy about the fact that he lost. And then Kip walks to the ring and he passes by Cassidy to kind of share a look. So I honestly would not be upset just based on the story that they're telling. It wouldn't surprise me if Kip Sabian does beat Orange Cassidy for that All-Atlantic title. So Kip Sabian is facing a jobber. I didn't catch the jobber's name. And he's basically mocking Orange Cassidy in this match. He wears Orange Cassidy's elbow pad, and he's basically making a mockery of Orange Cassidy. So he wins the match using an orange punch. Which I get why they did it. I get why they did that squash match, because just to make a mockery of Orange Cassidy, but I felt like it was necessary. The rest of the two matches were squashes. Yeah, pretty much. So you get a backstage interview with Preston Vance, or should I say Pero Peligroso. So Preston Vance now gives himself the new name, Pero Peligroso, which means dangerous dog. And he's basically telling Lexi Nair that she doesn't understand how these interviews work. He says that for the past 2 years, he was forced to wear a mask and do a stupid hand gesture. And he says that doesn't have any remorse, and that he belittled a child on national television, and that if that's all he had to do to get the spotlight, he would have done that shit 3 years ago. And then Jose, the assistant, says that the interview is clearly over. So what do you guys think of Preston Vance's new name, Pedro Peligroso, dangerous dog? We get a Jon Moxley promo, and he starts talking about how it's been a hell of a few years, that the first 3 years, the two men stood above the rest and beat everybody but each other, which is him and Hangman Adam Page, and that it was inevitable that there would be a showdown someday. And the showdown is going to happen on January 11th at the Inglewood Forum. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. So I was right. If you guys watched my review of Dynamite, I specifically said that Jon Moxley on Rampage would challenge Hangman to the match, and I was right. Yes, I am. Yes. So I'm so excited to see Jon Moxley versus Hangman. I called that. If you watch my Dynamite review, I called it. I said Jon Moxley would come out and challenge Hangman to a match. When we get a Triple J segment, they're basically talking about how on Wednesday, they're gonna take the titles from the Acclaim and they're gonna end their careers because they're gonna regret with that rap. If you guys remember on Dynamite, the Acclaim made a rap about Triple J. And so Triple J was not happy about the rap. I'm actually not excited for that. I don't really want to see the match. I'm not. I'm really hoping the Acclaim wins, and I'm pretty sure they will. I'd be shocked if Triple J wins here, but I'm really hoping the Acclaim comes out victorious. But it's not a match I'm looking forward to. I don't really like the whole feud with the Acclaim and Triple J. So we get a TBS Championship match. It's Kiera Hogan versus Jade Cargill. This is pretty much, I don't want to say a squash match because, I mean, Kiera Hogan did get some offense in, but it was mostly Jade Cargill dominating this match. No one wants to see Jeff Jarrett. Exactly. No one wants to see Jeff Jarrett. So I'm not looking forward to that match at all. And the only interesting thing about this match is that when Kiera Hogan went to the outside, Layla Gray grabbed her, and Red Velvet stopped Jade from attacking Kiera Hogan. But that wasn't enough. Jade Cargill still won this match after she hit Kiera Hogan with the Jaded. And Red Velvet left immediately. Like, in the ring was Jade Cargill and Layla Gray, but you could see Red Velvet walking. So I feel like maybe they're setting up a feud with Red Velvet and Jade Cargill. Red Velvet maybe turning on Jade. I think so too. It's probably, I don't know if Red Velvet would be the one to take the TBS title off of Jade. I don't think she is. So afterwards, we get a quick Jamie Hayter promo hyping up her tag match with Saraya and Britt. And she basically says that her match with Sheeta, she was setting the tone and standard for every Hayter match. She doesn't care who Saraya brings in as her partner. It's Hayter hits hard. Triple H. Hayter hits hard. I'm sure that wasn't intentional. And a commentary made an interesting note saying that on Dynamite, they will attempt to find out more about Saraya's mystery partner. So it's very curious. I don't want to see Red Velvet take the title from Jade. The only person to take it off of her is Kris Statlander. And that's exactly what I said. I feel like they're waiting for Kris Statlander to get healthy and have Kris Statlander take the title off of Jade. All right, so back to what I was saying. So I find it really interesting that now, I mean, this match was what? Now it's like a month ago, and only now are we going to attempt to find out more information about her partner. Mercedes is going to be Saraya's partner. Everybody keeps saying that. They keep saying it. Remember, it was reported that Mercedes cannot take any wrestling related bookings until after January 1st. So the episode is going to be on January 4th. So I think it is Mercedes. I want it to be Mercedes. I can't think of anybody else that it might be. But I will say this. If it's not Mercedes, I think it's in AEW's best interest to tell us that it's not Mercedes. Because everybody's expecting it to be Mercedes. And if it is Mercedes, I hope they don't outright tell us it's Mercedes. Let it be a surprise. Let it be a huge surprise. I want to be surprised. I'm going to be there for that. So, but okay, so if it's not Mercedes, what other possible options could there be? Maybe Kairi Sane? Or maybe Toni Storm? But if it was Toni Storm, I don't think they would have said it was a mystery partner. So, but let me know in the live chat or in the comments if you're watching this on the replay. Who do you think is going to be Saraya's mystery partner? I think the consensus could be Mandy Rose. I don't think so. She was released on the 13th of December, and if assuming she has a 30-day non-compete clause, she wouldn't be able to compete till the following week. But the consensus seems to be it's Mercedes, so we'll have to wait and see. We get a quick Makiyoto. Yeah, right, Ella. Hey, Makiyoto, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? So we get a quick Varsity Athletes Backstage Segment. And Mark Sterling is basically saying that he's tired of Bryan Danielson messing with his best friend and client. So in his hometown of Seattle, Washington, Bryan Danielson will face the premier athlete, Tony Nese. That's actually going to be a pretty good match. I'm actually looking forward to that. So our main event ends up being Swerve Strickland versus Wheeler Yuta. But before that, you guys know we always get a main event promo. And I thought it was hilarious because they asked Wheeler Yuta what's going through his head. And Moxley responds and he says that Yuta has no fear, no pain. And all he thinks about is destroy, destroy. It's the only mindset they allow him to have. Tony can just have fun jobbing to Brian. Yeah, he's definitely jobbing. Moxley goes on to say that Swerve Strickland is an incredible athlete. Hell, Killshot was his favorite wrestler for like years. Now, Swerve Strickland makes it a point to say that BCC is missing members, but the difference is that they were taken from the BCC and he got rid of his, referring to Keith Lee. And Wheeler Yuta makes it a point to say he's going to do this by himself. So the main event, Swerve Strickland versus Wheeler Yuta, which was actually not a bad match. I actually liked the match. I'm surprised the two guys with Swerve Strickland didn't get involved as much as I thought they would. But of course, there was a distraction. The ref was distracted, and this allowed Swerve Strickland to hit Wheeler Yuta with a low blow, and then Swerve Strickland won with a handful of he won. So I feel like they might be setting up for Wheeler Yuta versus Swerve Strickland for that Pure Honor title. What do you guys think? You guys think it'll lead to that title being defended? Maybe. So overall, that is how AEW Rampage ends. I thought it was an okay show. It didn't end with the bang, for it being the final Rampage of the year. So I'm also going to give this a 7 out of 10, just like SmackDown. But what did you guys think was a better show? Let me see. 4 out of 10 for Rampage? Wow, okay. Hey, we're all entitled to our opinions. Why did you give it a 4 out of 10? I'm curious. Let me see. Yeah, they will be setting up Swerve Strickland versus Yuta for that title. Yeah, I definitely do agree with you on that. I think so too. All right, well, I thought SmackDown was a little bit of a better show than Rampage. But with that being said, you guys, this is the final live stream of the year. Thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continuous support you have given me throughout the entire year. Let me see. 2 good matches and 2 jobber matches that I didn't care for. That makes sense. And your support has meant the world. So again, thank you guys all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. Have a happy new year. And I will see you guys live Monday after Raw for the first Raw of the year. Bye.